Sahana Vavatu Sahano Punatu Saha Viryankaravavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Maviddishavahe. Om Shanti. There's a question which has come up. A long question with so many things there. Whenever you are doing something like this, I'll just give you a tip in terms of how to put it across. Don't try to give what you have understood. First thing. So there's no necessity for us to explain to the teacher what is your understanding of that concept. For example, if you are asking a question with reference to 3 states of consciousness, let's say, or sattvic jnanam, right? Sattvic knowledge. So don't worry about what is your understanding of sattvic jnana. Don't worry about what is your understanding of these 3 states of consciousness or Maya or any concept for that matter. What is your problem? Say that straight. There is no necessity to be constructing the sentences in a diplomatic manner. To be, as much as possible, let us try to be polite. Remember, when a student is asking a question to the teacher, there is no need of any politeness and all that here. Ask directly, what is your problem? Ask yourself that question. Okay, now in this, what is my problem? Sir, I'm not able to understand this. That's all you have to say. Don't worry about what is the part that you believe you have understood. Maybe what you believe that you have understood could be a wrong understanding. Don't worry about that part. Don't try to work on that side first. First, try to work out in the areas where you believe that you have understood. I'm sorry, not understood. And then you can probe, you can investigate into the dimensions of life or dimensions of the subject where you have understood. Questioning what you have understood is mananam. That you have to do it all by yourself. You cannot ask me to do on your behalf. That is not possible. The moment you are coming to an external source, it becomes shravanam. It becomes listening. It is not reflection. In shravanam, you ask what you believe you have not understood. In mananam, you question what you believe you have understood. That is a difference. So don't worry about that. That's why we find many times people saying this. There's no need to state all that you're understanding, because the focus of the teacher will get shifted unnecessarily. Will go to many things, and try to use the words which are as simple, as non-abstract terms as possible. Like this cosmic life journey sounds so pedantic. That's about it. Doesn't communicate anything. Now, means what? A cosmic life journey is there even for a mountain. Mountain also goes through part of this cosmic life journey. Now, what is that got to do with you? The river has a cosmic life journey. Ganges has a cosmic life journey. What is that got to do with you? A tree, seed, plants, They also go through a life journey. So when you use the word such as this, instead of getting into any clarity, you will be losing things. So try to find out abstract words. In the question, try to avoid as much as possible such abstract terms. That is why it is the job of a teacher, when they use any abstract terms, they are supposed to pause and define it. What do they mean by that word? Because one word needs to be stated instead of a long sentence. Otherwise, every time we have to write a long sentence. Instead of writing a long sentence, we compress it and give it in as one word. So such words you should be avoiding. Then you can escape from such, complications. When you rephrase, your own questions, rewrite your own questions. Thereby, your understanding of your question becomes better. By making that question clear to you and ensuring that the person who is reading that question also will be able to understand it in the same manner. Otherwise, your understanding will be totally different from my understanding of such words. Democracy, for example. The word democracy is an abstract term. Right? Now, I have an understanding of the word democracy, and you have an understanding of the word democracy. And imagine that if both of us were to engage into a conversation, it will land up in dispute only, fight. Finally, you go back totally disappointed with me. I go back totally disappointed with you. I will not be happy with you. You will not be happy with me. You will go back thinking Ishwaran is not understanding what I'm speaking. I will go back thinking you people are not understanding what I'm speaking. Why? Because when we are using such word, democracy, abstract term, any abstract term needs to be spelled out clearly. What is meant? What is your understanding of such word? But that doesn't mean for every word you have to keep asking this good question. What is your understanding? What is your understanding of the word elephant? Please tell me. So, certain basic vocabulary we should have, right? For any sort of any of discussions, we need to have the basic vocabulary. Now, for every word we cannot be asking. But whenever I'm using a word which is different from the normal term, then the onus is on the person to spell it out. Like we use the word mind, intellect. When we use the word intellect, we refer to something in you specifically. When you use the word mind, we are referring to something in you specifically. You cannot be using that word mind from a dictionary meaning. We are using that same word, but a different meaning we are giving it than this. Same way, extroverted person, introverted person. In Vedanta, when we use the word extrovert and introvert, the meaning that we give is different from what is the English meaning. English word should be used with English meaning only. But since we are communicating in that language, we have to use a word, but we are using that word with a specific connotation, then we have to spell it out. Remember these two areas where spelling out becomes a necessity. Number one, whenever you use any abstract words. Number two, whenever you use words with a specific connotation which is different from the normal term, normal usage. So whenever we have something like that, be aware. When you do these things, you can escape from getting confused. You get confused more, and when you are communicating, you will be confusing the other also. That's about it. So with that, I don't understand the question. So how to present questions? These are few basic points. Of course, there are other things, but as and when I remember things, I'll give you. But as of now, for this context, these three mistakes were there. Right? Spell it out directly. Number one. Number two, when you use words, beware of words. Two words got to be careful with. Number one, abstract words, abstract terms. Number two, normal words with a particular connotation. Example, mind, intellect, extrovert, introvert. Aggressive, passive. When we use the word aggressive, the meaning is very different. The same way. Normal words with a specific connotation. Same way here. Now, whenever you listen to anyone also, you should be able to immediately capture those things. That's where your reading or listening gets deeper. You find a person speaking, oh, he speaks so well, sir. How do you know whether a person is speaking well? Using words which an average person cannot understand. You call that as good speech. But invariably we find, particularly in the philosophic realm, right? You find people speaking jargons have taken over the communication. So wherever you find, be careful of that. Okay. And now we are coming to our the last aphorism. We have seen the three aphorisms. Of the four, we have seen three. Now we will go into the fourth aphorism, Aham Brahma Asmi.
The last aphorism, Aham Brahma Asmi, I am Brahman, appears in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in the Yajurveda. Aham means I, Asmi means am, and Brahman is God. So the aphorism means I am God. It is the ultimate pronouncement of a self-realized person. Prior to self-realization, you use the first person singular pronoun I to mean the waker, dreamer, or deep sleeper. You believe yourself to be the waker as long as you remain in the waking state of consciousness and declare, I am the person in the waking state. When you enter the dream state of consciousness, you assume the personality of the dreamer. You declare, I am the person in the dream. And in deep sleep, I am the person in sleep. Ironically, you use I in all the three states, though you assume three distinct personalities. In truth, the I that you pronounce is your real self. In the three states, yourself is conditioned by your gross, subtle, and causal bodies, respectively. And the conditioned self expresses as the waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. The philosophy of Vedanta helps you to get over the conditioning. Apply this knowledge in your life. Transcend the limitation imposed by your material bodies. Expose your supreme self. Reveal the nascent I. That pure, unconditioned, native I is God. My real self is God. That is the ultimate experience of self-realization, hence known as Anubhava Vakya, statement of experience.
This is also referred as Anubhuti Mahavakya. The same Mahavakya has another name also, Aham Brahma Asmi, appearing in this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Aranyaka means forest. Brihat Aranyaka means, Brihat means big. A very big forest. That is the meaning, literal meaning of the word Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. Appearing in this Yajurveda. To be more precise, Shukla Yajurveda. Yajurveda, I suppose you are all aware, there are two schools are there in that same Yajurveda. One is called Krishna Yajurveda, another one is called Shukla Yajurveda. Shukla Yajurveda means white. Krishna Yajurveda means black, dark. Dark Yajurveda and the white Yajurveda. That's all it is. Now, how those two things came and all that is a different story. Now, we don't have to go into all those things right now. Now, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad has 8 chapters in that. That 8 chapters. The third chapter, actually, many people will call that the third one as a first one. Because first 2 chapters of this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad deals more to do with this karma portion. Ashwamedha, this, Nachiketa Agni, this one, all those aspects are coming in there. And Shankara has not written a commentary for that first 2 chapters. So his commentary itself starts from the 3rd chapter. So whenever you find, generally, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, first chapter, when they say, you should understand it is a 3rd chapter. So from 3 only they start the count. So it becomes the first one. In that 4th topic, 10th mantra, is where this statement appears. Brahmava idam agra asit. It starts with Brahmava idam agra asit. Tad atmanam vyeva vet. Aham Brahma Asmi iti. Tasma tat sarvam abhavat. The 10th mantra is a big mantra. It is, not like our usual mantra as we understand. It is like a paragraph, actually. That the first sentence is this. In the first portion of it, we discuss appearing this Mahavakya, Aham Brahma Asmi. And the context is this. The context of that mantra is a question is raised. Before that, there is a question. In the 9th mantra, there is a question. In fact, we have to study this Mahavakya. You have to start from the 7th mantra onwards. You have to start. This analysis starts from 7th mantra. 7, 8, 9, 10. We are just coming to the conclusion straight away here because we are discussing the topic is Mahavakya. The investigation starts from 7. And in that, there is a question being raised. For that question, this answer comes as a final conclusion. A fascinating question is asked. The question raised was this. Knowing what, Brahman becomes all. Brahman becomes all. Everything. Infinite. How, knowing what it became all? For that, it says, knowing itself, knowing Brahman, knowing itself as Brahman became all. That is the answer. So the question is that, answer is this, very simple. A simple question and simple answer. Now we are not going into the entire question and what all the implications in that question and all we are not going into. We are going directly into the study of that Mahavakya alone. We are just taking that statement, Mahavakya. What is a Mahavakya? Has only 3 words. Aham Brahma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi. That becomes Aham Brahma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi, it says. Aham Brahma Asmi. So here, the statement is the final conclusion and understanding that has come about, or the final experience, or the final achievement, or claim, becoming. Every word has a problem. Remember, see here, it is almost impossible to communicate, because the moment I say he has achieved it, there is a problem. He has experienced it, there is another problem. So how do you, what word you will use from English language? You'll say any language for that matter. That doesn't mean Sanskrit has a better language. There is no such thing. When it comes to Brahma Vidya, our knowledge of that Brahman cannot be attained through any language for that matter, because it is beyond all languages. But then we have to use a language to explain it. That's the Upanishads. So what do you do that, sir? The closest you can come to is, you cannot call it as achievement, you cannot call it as attainment, you cannot call it as experience. What do you call it as? The only word which we can come little closer with the minimal damage possibility, misunderstanding possibility, is reclaim. You just reclaim. That's about it. Because other words have been misused so much, abused so much. We need to use a different word now in English. So which is the easiest word we use? You claim it. That's about it. And what is this? 3 words. So we'll take this, each word, and study. That's what he's doing here. He's just taking each word and analyzing. And the first word we have in this is Aham. Aham in English means I. Now, the investigation starts. Okay, when I use the word I, every word will trigger a meaning, no? Every word that is used will trigger a meaning in the mind, isn't it? Doricious. When I use the word doricious, some meaning would have triggered in each one's mind, isn't it? Something. It cannot be no meaning at all. But when you are hearing the birds chirping, that sound will not trigger any meaning to you. Correct? There's no meaning to it. The moment I say mango, mangai, those who know mangai in Tamil language, they understand this is only one. And those who know Tamil grammar will say mangai is what? Ilakkana Kurippu. Correct? How you, the sounding of every poetry words that is used gets a marking. It's called Kuriidudal. In that, there is one format to which we call it as mangai, te mangai, puvilangai. Now you heard all that. Those who know that grammar will understand it. So when I use the word mangai, to that person, which will come first? Mango may come, or the grammar note will come. If he is an expert in grammar, he will get that meaning. But some meaning will come. Same way, whenever you are using the word I, aham, I, what is the meaning that strikes in your mind? What comes to your mind whenever you use the word I? One thing will be clear. What is that? I am jumping steps, okay? Right. We are just jumping to next step straight away. When I say next step, there are many steps in between. Many questions will be raised, many objections will be raised, many answers are given to it, and all those things in between. But here we are jumping to the next one. The next one is, say, one thing is sure for all of us. That is, I has to be necessarily of that of conscious in nature. Correct. It has to be of that of a conscious nature. It has to be of the nature of a Chetana Vastu, what we call as in Sanskrit. What is a proof? Opposite of Chetana Vastu, conscious is sentient, is insentient. Opposite of Chetana is Jada. The Jada Vastu can never have the notion of Aham, I. The notion of I is not possible for an inert object, isn't it? The pen never has the notion of I. Correct? Now you are having the notion of I. Therefore, what you have to be? You have to be of the nature of the Chetana Vastu. You have to be of that of a conscious being, sentient, conscious being. But then, is that all you have? No. You are also having this notion of I am the body. I am the mind. I am the intellect. And that's what he is doing here. This inquiry we do now. I am the waker. He's just taking from another angle now. I'm just started from different angle. He's using a different angle. Now what we are studying now is we are studying the pada aham. Inquiry is done. This inquiry is known as jiva vichara, or who am I? What Ramana Maharishi calls, inquire, do the self-inquiry of who am I? Who am I means what? What is the real nature of that jiva? What I am. Whenever I use the word I includes what? Essentially, it includes the conscious principle plus the body, mind, intellect. Right. This mind and intellect is this Chetana Vastu, what we call as the conscious principle, is the subtlest aspect. Grosser than that is the intellect. Grosser than that is the mind. Grossest is the body. I am the body. The belief is there, isn't it? I am the body. Anything away from that body, this notion of aham you will not have. That aham notion modifies into mama notion, mine. You will say, this book is mine. The laptop is mine, I will say. The laptop will never say, isn't it? I am the laptop. No. I am not the laptop. The laptop is mine. So beyond body, the only option you have is to call as mine, not mine. Only two chances are there. But once you come to the body, and you start going inside, subtler aspects inside to the human personality. When you go, you start claiming I am this body. Now, I am this body, enquiry. I am this mind. I am this intellect. I am the conscious principle. I am actually a combination of these things put together. This much of investigation we have done. Then we ask that question, sir, the moment you say there are four, immediately we ask the question, of the four, which is your essential nature? Right. What is the essential nature? Because I plus BMI, conscious principle plus BMI is equal to I. Now we ask this question, in this, are you the conscious principle or BMI? Which is essential aspect of you? Here we say, we go back to the basic one. Whenever you use the word I, Vachyartha is what of I word? I hope you have not forgotten. There are two ways we have the meaning for the words. One is the direct meaning. Another one is the implied meaning. What is the direct meaning of the word I? Vachyartha. It is body, mind, intellect. What is the Lakshyartha, implied meaning of the word Aham? Is that Chetana Vastu, pure consciousness, which is of the nature of a Sakshi. So what is this? Aham. Aham word means the witnessing pure conscious principle. You have to add all these words. Right. I'm just, straight away I'm just stating conclusions. We are not going into why each word needs to be added. Okay. I, implied meaning of the word Aham is witnessing pure conscious principle. Now, this is the thing. So therefore, what is the meaning of this? There is no qualifications, no modifications, nothing. Without it doing any one of those things, I understand Aham. So every time when you use the word I, you should always remember which one you are referring to. I am referring to that Nirvishesha Chaitanyam. That's the meaning of it. No special qualifications, modifications, nothing. Unqualified Nirvishesha is that. No Vishesha, no special qualities, special things added to it. Nothing is added there. It is just this. For this enquiry, this Shastra gives various assistance. One is this Drik Drishya Viveka, the seer seen, distinction between the seer and the seen. That is a Jiva enquiry, Aham enquiry. Another one is this three states of consciousness: waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. Then we have this three bodies, right? Body, mind, intellect. Or you take those 5 koshas, Panchakosha Viveka, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. Panchakosha Viveka. So, for you to do the self-enquiry, the scriptures come and assist you. Using these various methods, techniques, we arrive at this conclusion. So taking I to be the equipments or the three bodies or this Drik, Panchakosha, all this is Vachyartha. Lakshyartha is taking it as this witnessing pure conscious principle. Aham Pada. Now we go to this next Pada, Brahma. Brahma Pada inquiry. Now, whenever the moment you use the word Brahma, there is no. Now we are not referring to this. Brahma means that four-headed creator. We are not referring to that. Okay. This Brahman. The moment you say Brahman, you have to go to Upanishads only. You have to go to the Vedas. You have to go to the Upanishads. You have to go to the Shastras only for us to gain this knowledge of this. So there, how Brahman is explained. Brahman means supreme reality. You can take it as. What is Brahman, sir? Brahman means a supreme reality. How this Brahman is introduced to us? Brahman is introduced as the source and the substratum of the universe, the world. Brahman is the source and the Brahman is the substratum of the world. So Aham Pada inquiry is with reference to individual Yashti. Brahma Pada inquiry is with reference to the total Samashti Bhava. There we use the word world. There we do that inquiry. There this one inquiry is done. What is the inquiry? They do that. We have done that earlier. Okay. Somewhere we have done. I don't remember which class and all that, but we have done this. What is that inquiry? Karyakarana vichara. Karyakarana vichara. Karana, Karya, vichara. Either way you can call it as. Karana is Sat, the cause, the source and the substratum of the world. So in this, the source and substratum is called the Karana, the cause, and the Karya, the effect, is the world, Jagat. And what is the nature of Jagat? The nature of Jagat is Mithya. And the nature of Karana is Satya, means existence. Karana, cause, Satya, Sat, pure existence. Jagat, which is the effect, which is of Mithya, illusory in nature. If Jagat is illusory in nature, follow the logic carefully now. Right? If the effect is illusory in nature, the cause that we are attributing, no, that also should be of the nature of what? Cannot be the real cause, isn't it? The real cause cannot be that. You cannot put the responsibility of this illusory world on Brahman. So Brahman becomes what? Brahman becomes a substratum. So first level, we say it is the source. Then we establish it's not only source, it is substratum also. That's why in the beginning itself I said it is the source and substratum of the world. So step 1, we say it is a source. Step 2, we say no, it's not a source. Why? Because what is projected on that is illusory in nature, non-existing world. Mithya, caused by ignorance of it. Because of ignorance, projection has happened. That projected world is this. So therefore, we say the cause is not Brahman, but then without Brahman it is not possible to happen. Therefore, what is Brahman, sir? Brahman is the substratum. That substratum has to be of the nature of always existing. Correct? Existence. That isness, what we call as. I don't know whether there is actually a word called isness. Right? The book is, they say, the book can disappear. I can tear the book to pieces. The book will disappear, but that isness will not disappear. The seed will disappear. What will appear? A sapling will appear. The sapling will disappear. A plant will appear. The plant will disappear. The tree will appear. Right? But at all the stages, you said seed is, sapling is, the plant is, tree is. Seed is there, sapling is there, plant is there, tree is there. That is there, is there, is there, is there, is there is constant. What is variable then? Variable aspect with reference to the world is that Nama Rupa is variable. So, Vyashti analysis, when you do Jagat analysis, when you do, in that Jagat, one is a variable factor, another one is a fixed factor. The variable factor is that Nama Rupa, the fixed factor is the Satrupa. So what we do? Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Immediately. In Aham, what did we do? There are two things. What is it, sir? The body, mind, intellect plus pure consciousness. We deleted the body, mind, and intellect, took only the pure consciousness. Same way, in Brahmapada, what are we doing? We remove the Namarupa aspect, we take only the substratum, Sat aspect. These two things get equated as Asmi. Just two words are there. That's about it. That Asmi is where it is. Asmi is a present tense. Right? Asmi, the word Asmi is a present tense. This present tense means what? It is present always. Always. What is that? Aham exists. That pure consciousness is always existing. It is not dependent on the Srishti Kala, Pralaya Kala, all those things. Sthiti Kala. It is always there. When I understand that pure consciousness which I am is always existing, I become everything. So the moment this understanding comes, I become everything. That understanding, that experiencing, that attaining, that reclaiming is what is referred as Aham Brahma Asmi. The student proclaims. Now he is no more a student. You can't call him a student now. Why? Because he has become Brahman. Once he has become Brahman, you can't call him as a student anymore. He is a guru by himself now. He has become that Brahman. And he claims that Aham Brahma Asmi. Now, which is exact opposite of Tat Tvamasi. Tat Tvam Asi is a statement by the Guru. The student cannot tell that to the same thing to the Guru. Tat Tvamasi. What? You are also Brahman. You are that Brahman. No. Student claims what? Aham Brahma Asmi. So this statement is, it's a roar, they call it as. The student, roars, it seems. When he is commenting, Shankara, when he comments, he says, the student roars and claims, that in the platform of, lectures and all that, some statements when we make, we have to make it so forcefully. All gimmicks, public lecture gimmicks. So whenever we give this, talk to the people, to stir the audience, you raise your voice at times. How do you say that? Jai Hind. How do you say that? Jai Hind. Or Jai Hind. How do you say that? Makes a difference, no? The tone. The tone with which you say makes a difference. Same way here. Aham Brahma Asmi. You claim your birthright. It's my birthright. Claim that. Says the student has reached there. So this is the Anubhava Vakya is referred as, or also it is also known as Anubhuti Vakya. It's the same thing. Some people use the word Anubhuti Vakya, and here we use the word Anubhava Vakya. Because the problem is this Anubhava means immediately we go into a different misunderstanding comes into picture. Experience. What is the problem? Experiencing immediately there are three things: the experiencer, the experienced, and the experiencing. And then how can there be three in that? There are three things. Therefore, how can you call that as Advaita? No, non-dual. So therefore, Anubhava is not there. And then these people started using another word. It's not Anubhava. It is actually called as Anubhuti Vakya. And then today, even that Anubhuti Vakya also has a problem. Understanding. Immediately we say the knower and the known cannot be the same. No. And on what basis you are deriving this meaning for that word Brahma? There is another person who writes a commentary for this. He says, Brahma Pada refers to Jivatma. Actually. Aham Brahma Asmi means he understands what? I am that Jivatma. That's all he understands. That's about it. We say, now, how do you say the word is Brahman? When you are using the word Brahman, how can you say the word Brahman means Jiva? They see, he understands that I am this Jiva, that Jiva is part of Brahman. So therefore, he is going to become Brahman. Since he is going to become Brahman, instead of calling him Jiva, he started calling him Brahman now itself. And that's how we speak, normal terms. There is nothing extraordinary. The example they give is a lady in the house is cleaning the rice, washing the rice. And when she is washing the rice, and she is taking the rice and putting it in the hot water, dropping that, taking one little by little and dropping it there. You go and ask her, what are you doing? She will say, Sadam adikiren. Right? In English, we don't have that word, so I can't use it. So there's only word, is this. The raw rice, after getting cooked only, it can be termed as sadam. Otherwise, it is known as arisi. See that? There are two words: uncooked rice and a cooked rice. Uncooked rice is called arisi. After getting cooked only, it is called as sadam. Now, what is the lady having in her hand? Arisi only, no? It's not yet cooked. But still, she will call this itself as what? Sadam. Why? In another 10 minutes, it is going to become sadam. Therefore, now itself it is called as sadam. Same way, in Aham Brahma Asmi, it is Aham Jiva Asmi, is what he understands. But instead of calling it as Jiva, why Upanishad referred the word as, why Upanishad put the word Brahman there? Because by this understanding, he is going to become part of that Brahman. I am all. I am part of it. So that's what he is going to reach. So since he is going to reach there in another, it's just a question of time. In another few moments, he is going to become Brahman. Therefore, what we should call him? Don't call him Jiva now. Call him Brahman now itself. That's why Upanishad uses the word Brahman. But don't take it as Brahman. Brahman doesn't mean Brahman. So, what you are calling it as Vachyartha and Lakshyartha is a wrong interpretation. And then there is a rejoinder given to it. They say, no, you are wrong in your interpretation, and the fight will keep going on. Read these fellows. I'd say it's a very good, very interesting intellectual, exercise to get your grounding on the subject. Remember that. To get that complete grounding, you do need this sort of a inquiry. Otherwise, you will miss the whole point. It's not to prove who is right and who is wrong. It's an intellectual exercise to stretch your thinking. Otherwise, we just simply take it. Yeah, whatever they say, correct. Is correct. Not immediately saying whatever they say is wrong. Another stand we take is whatever they say wrong. On what basis you say, if you like a person, whatever he says is correct. If you don't like that person, whatever he or she says is wrong. Full stop. We just operate on likes and dislikes. So no application. Vedanta wants you to apply them. That is why they do this analysis. So in this analysis, he says what you need, how you need to understand the depth and the glory of this Mahavakyas is what he is concluding with. Fascinating conclusion. Yes, because when you are reading the book, you'll think, okay, that's all it is, Tattvamasi. I have understood Tattvamasi, sir. I have understood I am Atma Brahma. I have understood Aham Brahma Asmi. That's all. What is this? Lakshyartha, Vachyartha, and then Bhagatyaga Lakshana, and this one, that one. You just use, 4 things and say, that's all it is. He says, my dear, if you have to really get a grasp of what is given there, is what he is giving now here. The last 2 paragraphs. The Bhagavad Gita expounds the aphorism that the what. I'll just read myself. It's so tempting. Really beautiful one. Its 18 chapters can be divided into 3 sets of 6 chapters each. The first set relates to thou. The middle set deals with that. The last set with art. So the profound philosophy of the Gita expounds the aphorism. Such is the power and grandeur of the aphorisms. Now, if you have to understand those 3 words, what you need to do? You have to study the 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. That much of material is packed in this 3 words. Tat Tvam Asi. So 1 to 6 of the Bhagavad Gita expounds this Tvam Pada, verse 6. Then the middle 6, 7 to 12, deals with Tat Pada Vichara. Then 13 to 18, Asi Pada Vichara, that thou art. So then you understand the aphorisms pronounce that there is but one supreme reality. Now he is concluding. All the aphorisms comes to this. That reality you are. Realize that the world is a mere passing phenomenon, a variety show with no pith or substance. Yet you are lost in this empty show. The ignorance of yourself has caused it all. No more of that ignorance. Regain the knowledge of yourself. Establish yourself in your supreme being. Merge with the reality. Gain the ultimate experience. I am God. Next topic. What is that I am God? Now, what you will be experiencing, what you will be understanding, what you will get to see. What is that? That's the explanation of that. I am God. So you have to, that's what he uses the word. You have to claim that. You got to regain that. You have to merge with it. You got to gain that ultimate experience. Now, all these words finally lead to only one thing. What is it? I am God. Claim it. Don't hesitate. At least for simply for the heck of it, say, I am Atma Brahma. Just say that. No. In saying that, what is your problem? Hey, I am God. What is your problem there? That we can't accept. One thing we cannot accept is that. If anyone says, I am God, finished. That's what happened to a Sufi saint. One of the fascinating stories of this Sufi master. He went and announced in the village, bring the best of shoes that you have, or God is coming tomorrow. Bring the best of clothes that you have. Bring the best of this. Bring the best of whatever you have. And those people who got so excited and they brought everything to the market. The next day they were asking him, where is God? He told those people, here I am. I am God. And you can imagine what would have happened to those village people. Here I am. They caught that fellow and put him on this, burnt him. Tied that fellow and burnt him alive. As they are burning, he was claiming, Aham Brahma Asmi. I am this God. I am God. The fire is God. The wood is God. The pole to which you people are tied me is God. You are missing the whole point. That way we miss the whole thing. Gather the courage to claim that. Just even egoistically. I say, doesn't matter. Genuinely claiming it and all that. At least with that ego, you should claim that Aham Brahma Asmi. I am Atma Brahma. Tattvamasi, you don't say that. Okay. Claim only these two things. As a practice, I am Atma Brahma. This Atman is Brahma. Same way, you say Aham Brahma Asmi. That's the claim. That's what he's going to explain now. Aham Brahma Asmi is what he's going to take a stand and present the whole thing. Why? Because you say, I am God. The next topic, beautiful topic, another one. See you in the next class.